Hello guys, welcome to yet another episode of how to create an MVC project with ASP.NET, MVC and Jquery dataTable. Basically what you will learn at the end of this series is how to create a crude project in MVC. In our first episode, I introduced you to how to create an ASP.NET project, and also I introduced you to the Jquery dataTable plugin and how to include them into your ASP.NET project. In our second video, we learned how to create a database in Microsoft SQL Server and also how to create a stored procedure. I first gave you a brief introduction into what stored procedures are and its usefulness. So guys, if you missed those two videos, please go back and then watch them to better understand this third video. And also, if you've not yet subscribed to my channel, please do share and like for more videos. Okay, so in today's episode, you'll be looking at how to connect our ASP.NET MVC project with Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, and at the end of the series, our project should look like this. And John Mensah, phone number, nationality, email address, they are all being picked from this database here. John Mensah is inside the finance department. There was a date John was employed. This is John's phone number and this is John's email address. As we can see here, this is John's email address, this is nationality, this is phone number, this is John's full name. We excluded his department here. But yeah, basically this is what you should see. The first step to connecting our ASP.NET project to Microsoft SQL Server is to create what we term as the connection string inside our project, and then link our database name and the various objects to the Microsoft SQL Server DB that we created in SQL Server itself. I have already written the codes. They work, so what I'll be doing mostly, pardon me, is to copy and paste what I've done. Feel free to pause the video if you get confused along the way. But yeah, I will try my best to make it very, very easy to understand. Okay, so let's start by creating the connection string. So on the right hand side of your Solution Explorer, the last file, which is the web.config, if you right here, web.config, right here. This is where we will create our connection string. So I will go into the one that I have already done. Here. And then copy and paste this connection string here. into my application. And then copy. Let me just copy all this here into my application. Okay, so basically, let me push this to the right, see better, and then close this one down here. Okay, so this is the name of my connection string. This is the connection string itself. This is the source, the name of the source, which should be the same as my SQL Server name here. It should always be the same. And then the catalog is the name of the database, which is here. Demo. Yeah. So the name of the DB is demo. It should always be the same as the catalog name. Integrated security through the we are using an SQL client. So this is the first step in to creating a connection string. The next is to create this object inside our DB. So again, I will just copy and paste, but here is a table context. So I will just copy the name and then create the file inside my model class, and then paste the name here, the table context, same here, and I'll add it into my folder here. Okay. Over the errors and then install this package, entity framework. You say find and install the latest version, and then Visual Studio will do that. Okay, so here the error is gone because we've installed the data.entity plugin inside our project, but then there is still one error which says db set employees. Now, because we've linked our project to our db, we need to create the models for the db objects. So if we realize inside our demo there is a table called employee, so we need to represent that table here inside our project. So what we will do is that copy this again inside our models folder. We will add the class called employee. See add. Let's see if, and then realize that the error is gone. Now, inside the employee objects, we have the first name, last name, department, date of employment, phone number, email address. So let's see its design. ID is an integer, full name is a string, phone number is a string, nationality is a string, email address is a string. Okay, so I will just hop into the one I've already done and copy and paste. Again, whenever you see the red line, just hover over that part and then it will give you a hint as to what to do. So basically here we need to import this. So click on it and then the error is gone. Okay, so just as I said before, the table has an ID, full name, phone number, nationality, email address. The ID is an integer, the full name is a string, the phone number is a string, the nationality is a string, email address is a string, and they are all public, accessible to all. Okay, so let's save this. And then we also have to include our we also need to do some work inside our controller, which is the home controller. Again, we don't need these. We just need the index function for this view, the index view here, and then we don't also need these anymore because we will be pulling the data from our database. Okay, so inside our controller, again, let me copy and paste from what I've already done. We will need to call the connection string inside our controller here. So again, we will hover, and then it says that using web application.models. So we will be importing this model right here, the table context, which holds our data. Which holds the connection to the database, the table context, which is here. Okay. Again, if it is too fast, if it's too confusing, you can pause, go back, and follow at your own pace, or can leave a comment, any suggestion, and I will work on it in my next video. Okay, so inside our controller, we will create the DB connection here. The variable name is DB, means a database, and then we will insert our controller. We will insert our function, here. So the name of the function, let me change this to get employee data. Get employee data. So this video is going to show you how to connect your DB to SQL Server, and then how to pull data from SQL Server into your ASP.NET project. Okay, so here inside our try and catch, which usually is used to handle errors, we create a variable called results, which will hold the result or the feedback we get from the DB. It says DB, which is the variable we created here, dot employees, which is the name of the model we created here, employees. So basically the employee model here represents the employee table inside the SQL database. Okay. So we say db.employee. So basically go into the employee table and then get this or pull this stored procedure for us. So it is that .sql query this stored procedure and then put it inside a list and save it inside this results. We are using the get mode or the get method, and then we say that return this results into this variable called data. So first of all, let's make sure that there is a stored procedure called employees. And again, if you are new, we created this stored procedure in our second video. So if you missed it, please go back and watch. So this is the name of our stored procedure, get employees. It is the same as the one we've placed here. Okay, so this basically concludes our what we need to do inside our controller. So this function, get employee data, basically pulls all the data inside the employee table into our ASP.NET project. So in our view, we will need to get the returned data inside our Jquery data table using an Ajax request, just like how we do when we are using an API or working with an API. Okay, so inside our view, we've already done the M of the MVC, which is the model now, and then we've also done the C inside MVC, which is the controller, and the last part is the V, which is a view. So as I said, we'll basically be writing an Ajax request into our controller to pull the data into our Jquery dataTable table. So here I created a variable called dataTable list. For now, it's not really needed. Then there is the ID of the table I created in HTML right here. Then I initialize the dataTable table. Again, if you are new, I have already done this in my first video, so please go back and then watch. And so this is the Ajax request, and this is the URL which I'm calling to the controller. So basically I say go into the home controller, and then inside the get employee data function, so this is the home controller and this is the function we are calling. So we say go into the home controller and then call the get employee function, and the data source is data, which is right here. Okay, so these are the columns or the fields that we are inserting the pooled data, or these are the data we are calling: the full name, phone number, nationality, email address, which is the same as what we created in the model: full name, phone number, nationality, address. You realize that I didn't include the ID. Again, it is optional if you want to. That's okay. And then these are the buttons which we have already done. The only new thing in this tutorial is this part, the Ajax request, and then the columns that we are calling, and they are the number of columns here always has to be the same as the number of table headers that we call. So full name, phone number, nationality, email address, and the names has to correspond with each other. Okay, so this is basically how you get data from SQL Server server. You first create your connection string, which we did in the web.config here, the right hand side of our Solution Explorer, and then you add the configurations to your web config, the first part of the configuration, and inside your connection string you create a name. I called it dataTable context. Then you create your connection string. This is the name of your SQL Server, the name you use inside your SQL Server here. So basically your SQL Server name, bank/express is mine. And then the catalog name, demo, which is the name of the database in SQL Server. Okay, so now let's run and see. Click on the play icon. Let's see. Okay, great. So this is the data inside our SQL DB. Let's try and then compare. demo. Select top 1000. Says full name is John Mensah. Phone number, this is the phone number, this is the nationality, and this is the email address. Okay, so again, full name, phone number, nationality, email address. Okay, so guys, this concludes the first part, the tutorial on how to connect our MVC project in ASP.NET with SQL Server using the Jquery dataTable plugin to display our data. Again, if you've not watched my previous videos, please go back. It's a series, and watch to better understand what I'm doing and how useful it is. So please like, subscribe if you haven't, and leave your comments. Let me know what you think, and let's engage each other. So in our next video, we will be looking at how to add a record from your ASP.NET MVC project. Thank you.